Zone box, Pablo. Are you excited?
I am very, very excited to see United Wings. This is the matchup that I'm sure Alex was hoping to avoid. Sableye can be very, very detrimental to the strategy. We'll have to see if Alex has some way to play around that, or if it's going to be all aggression from Alex and all aggression from Sky as well.
Oh, and looks like we have a little bit of change on the graphic. It's not Lost Zone Box. It is actually Lugia Archeops, which is a very different matchup for this United Wings deck. United Wings, kind of an awkward matchup against Lost Zone Box, but up against Lugia V-Star, you got a Lightning Attacker in that Watch Rail.
Yeah. You have Lightning Attacker. You also have single prize versus multiple prize Pokemon exchange. If you get all 12 United Wings Pokemon in the discard pile, along with a Ditto attacking, then all of a sudden you have 240 damage potential to KO even a Tyranitar. So, okay, yeah, now I'm a little bit more happy about this matchup and should be a good one to watch. Tyranitar also a very powerful attacker against Alex. The discard of resources could be important as well. And Yveltal also a pretty good card to utilize in this matchup to play with the price trade-off. So should be a pretty cool back and forth here.
I am just excited. We're going to see United Wings. I know a couple friends at home is also excited. They're always big fans of decks throughout the ages. We've had Night March has been one of the most popular ones, utilizing this kind of attack style. There's also been Lost March, kind of different but the same. And honestly, United Wings, there's room in this format for it to do well.
There definitely is. There definitely is. If Lost Box wasn't such a big thing, it could potentially be even more powerful than it is. And speaking of versatile evolution lines, we do have Kirlia and Gallade in this United Wings deck.
We're just uniting every Pokemon in this deck and see, you know, how good Kirlia is in the Gardevoir decks. Might as well utilize it here. Discard those Pokemon so you can power up your United Wings turn after turn.
Indeed, and Gallade can fetch you a crucial game-winning boss in the late game, makes you very Iono-proof as well, which is going to be very, very important. And I think this match, the most important thing will be, can Sky keep up with the pressure applied from United Wings, and can the turn to Arceus V-Star, turn to Lugia V-Star to get those Arceus into play, it does happen or not. That's going to be very, very key for Sky.
Well, she does have a 1/1 Lugia V-Star prize as well as a Luminion V, but there's multiple copies of all of those Pokemon in the deck. I guess more importantly is that boss's orders and only one left, and then that single strike energy. Obviously, any amount of energy in the prize card is never good for a deck like Lugia V-Star.
Relying on only special energy cards, you can recycle the single strike ones, but not any of the others. And a good thing is not seeing that Professor Burnett in the prize cards. That's always crucial for Lugia decks to try and establish themselves.
Gonna start things off. V-Guard energy on that Lugia V, and then the Mezagoza Stadium card that is kind of fallen out of favor for AutoZone.
Yeah, Artisan, very powerful statement card overall, just not useful for Lugia as it cannot search for rule box Pokemon. Mezagoza is a coin flip, which is unreliable, but I mean, if you use it twice over the course of 2 turns, then on average you will get a Pokemon. Right now, you're gonna wonder as Sky, your opponent flips over a Ditto. Your first immediate thought is, nah, is it really United Wings? Really?
Well, yes, it is. Flamigo, Insta-Flock, grabbing 3 Flamigo from your deck, put them into your hand. There's an Ultra Ball to discard the 2 found. And with the heads on the Mezagoza, that found a Squawkabilly EX, one of my favorite cards from this Paldea Evolve set.
I know, a lot of really cool new cards being shown here. The Squawk and Seize ability allowing you to get a fresh new hand, essentially, of 6 cards. Discarding your whole hand only works on the first turn, however. And pretty cool card, but useless after turn 1. So you need to play a lot of Search to be able to utilize it effectively.
Well, Pablo, we got our first Squawk and Seize on stream. Discards a Kirlia, which is a little bit worse, but draw 6 cards, and you don't have to do anything. Just use that ability.
Similar to the Denny GX from not too long ago, honestly, but really cool to see it being utilized now. Gallade going away, not going to be too big here, although sometimes, depending on bench sizes, Gallade's first attack could come into play against Lugia.
Did discard it with that Serena, but also got 2 more Pokemon in the discard with that United Wings attack.
Are we going to need to have a United Wings counter eventually
maybe,
set
yeah.
up?
If it gets popular enough.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, there. The Lost Zone count is being the United Wings count, maybe.
Yeah, that could be useful to keep track. Sky's hand, not super great here. We'll have to see if she can do anything, but no, just a Read the Wind, unfortunately. Nothing good out of that.
And that's the result of flipping 2 tails off Mezagoza, not being able to search for those Archeops, not being able to search for Luminion, to have a supporter that's actually going to be good. I think it was just a penny in the hand. And ended the turn with Read the Wind, did draw into an Iono, so at least next turn we can maybe get a little set up here, but United Wings is going to start flapping away.
I'm wondering about that Collapse Stadium. She took away the option of Mesagosa from Alex, but also from herself. And the bench space in Lugia decks is very important to manage properly, so limiting yourself could come back to bite you at some point if you have to bench like Luminion, and then you also needed Serena to heal and whatnot.
Refinement does find a Wattrel and a double turbo energy. Gonna level ball here for another Curlia, get another refinement going. And that Ditto already fully powered up thanks to that double turbo energy. Can copy the Wattrel or the Flamigo in the discard.
Yeah, doing 20 less damage, which a lot of the time won't matter. It could matter at some point against, for example, Tyranitar. But if you need to hit for the full damage, you can copy Murkrow's United Wings attack with a single Darkness energy. So that's going to be very key. Not quite enough to be able to KO the Lugia. That Serena could actually be a big factor in this match.
It does look like there's 7 Pokemon in the discard for United Wings. But Sky has that Iono, so hopefully finding some Archeops and an Ultra Ball here to play the game.
Yeah, if that's a heads flip, I believe there's 2 Ultra Balls, so there it is. There's the heads flip. Think we're going to see Ultra Ball away. Yeah,
already has the Archeops
already
in hand.
has the Archeops. There you go. So not even necessary. The result of that capturing aroma actually did not matter whether it was heads or tails to achieve this, but by flipping the heads, you get so much closer with a much kinder way to discard the Archeopses.
And evolves the bench Lugia V into that V-Star and uses Summoning Star, an ability that we've seen time and time again throughout this regional circuit. Grabbing both those Archeops from the discard with that Primal Turbo ability, being able to search for 2 special energy and attach them to one of your Pokemon. Gets the double Turbo energy and attaches it to the active along with the Gift energy. I like the Gift energy here.
Definitely good call on the Gift energy with a low card hand size. You're also only going to get 1 prize card by knocking out this Ditto. The unfortunate thing here is that the Lugia worth 2 prizes is only taking 1 prize card before it goes down. If your Lugia or your 2 prize Pokemon takes 2 prizes, then it paid itself off, right? But right now, Sky will be at a deficit, which Alex is trying to build upon by playing all these single prize powerful attackers.
And then there is that Arrow Dive, 110 damage thanks to that double turbo energy. Taking the knockout, grab 1 prize card, and going to leave the Collapse Stadium in play. Limit that bench of Alex even more. Alex does have a Nest Ball to grab a Ditto, refresh the one that just got knocked out. You want to be able to have a constant stream of attackers with a deck like this.
Interesting that Alex only plays Collapse Stadium himself. So this Collapse Stadium will be limiting both players until Sky decides to remove it, which Alex has just enough Pokemon in play to have the follow-up, backup attackers, and the support of Curlius in case he gets Ionoed, but it could get dicey at some point. Now, a lot of United Wings already in the discard pile, really maximizing out the damage, and there's the double turbo that Alex needed to take this KO.
Yeah, I believe there was 10 United Wings in the discard. So that means you're doing 180 damage. Thanks to that double turbo energy. Sky has that Tyranitar V though.
Yeah,
and the jet energy.
You have a new jet energy saving you, allowing you to be more energy efficient with your energy attachments, with your discards for retreating. Definitely very impactful. And this is where the 2-card discard doesn't sound like a lot, but if you get rid of some important resources, that can really make a difference, right? A boss's orders, cheeky discard here, a pal pad here and there. Energies especially is what Sky would love to see get discarded.
And with that 3 single strike energy on that Tyranitar V, able to do 120 damage, taking the knockout, discards a switch and a level ball. I believe Sky going down to 4 prize cards now.
Now with the Collapse Stadium being in play, that Skogabilly will always be in Alex's bench, right? So as long as Sky can get to a situation where Alex has 1 prize card left and she has 2, then she'll be able to make up for this deficit. Now the question here is, can Alex get all 12 Pokemon in the discard pile, all 12 United Wings, in order to hit for 240 damage with Ditto? I believe, yeah, he was only 1 short. There's the 4 Murkrow, the 4 Flamigos, and now the 4th Wattrel.
Insane.
I mean, we both played when Night March was a thing, right? So this is definitely something we're familiar with, and it's no surprise that this strategy remains viable at this stage in time.
After a couple of refinements, all 12 are in the discard. There's that dark energy.
The big thing here that Alex is missing is a backup attacker, right? After this Ditto goes down, there isn't... Oh, now there is.
Yeah,
there's
easy.
a Ditto.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Rescue Carrier, being able to bring back 2 Pokemon with 90 HP or less from the discard, put them in your hand. That's how you keep your attackers going in this deck. And a Pal Pad to go along with it, shuffling back in that Clara and Serena. Serena could be the last missing piece to clean up this game here for Alex.
Indeed, Alex just need basically another attack, right? If Sky ends up using Lugia, which Lugia is the only Pokemon that can survive an attack from United Wings. If she decides to use an Arceus, then that tries to play with the price trade-off, but her best chance here is to play Iono back-to-back and have Alex whiff, right? He needs to whiff a turn. Sky needs to take a KO this turn, take a KO the next one without losing the game, and then she'll be able to go boss KO this Skogabilly. So both players have a path to victory. It's just Alex's is a lot more clear here.
And unfortunately, Sky did use an Iono on turn 3 just to get set up. So he's already down one of those powerful disruption supporters here in this game 1.
That's where the backup refinements, right, will be the difference maker for Alex. And also, he's dogged through his deck quite a lot, right? So he cannot possibly have too many cards left. And as we mentioned in an earlier matchup, the Palpad is a very good card. And there it is. The Urshifu getting benched means Alex can take this down this turn.
Yeah, a little awkward with that single strike Urshifu V bench. It opened up exactly that play of just boss's orders, take the knockout. Otherwise, Alex would have needed to maybe find another way to get back a Wattrel to hit for that weakness against that Lugia V-Star.
Yeah, I think Sky's path to victory was try to attack with Arceus and soak up a hit with either Lugia or Urshifu and then soak up another hit, right? Because they don't have weakness to lightning or darkness, and therefore Alex cannot possibly one-KO them, but Sky was always a turn behind. Yeah, her unfortunate slowish start was not conducive to a turn 2. Lugia V-Star into Arceus, which we mentioned at the beginning, and being a turn behind as a Lugia player against a single price deck just means the price exchange becomes even more difficult for you. So even though there was a 2-price liability for Alex that he could not play Collapse Stadium down to get rid of, it ended up not mattering as he was just too far ahead by the time Sky was able to start taking KOs.
Hey, anytime you can get 12 Pokemon in the discard in this deck, you're going to be winning a lot of these games.
For sure.
In my testing, that was unheard of. I never got like that with this United Wings.
Yeah, and with 2 heavy balls, Alex definitely making sure that he won't run into any pricing issues. I mean, pricing 3 of your 12 United Wings Pokemon is potentially likely, but with double heavy ball, you can definitely mitigate that. Now we are going to see Sky start us off, and with a slightly stronger start overall, but missing the key piece of a way to search for Luminion into Burnett. You know, that's your goal. That could be very key, and getting 2 Arceus into a discard pile off of our research is actually not so simple. It used to be very easy with quick balls and evolution instances, but now in this format, Lugia definitely struggles quite a lot more to get those cards into the discard pile.
Here she does Nest Ball for that Yveltal, and it's just an attacker that gives up a single prize. It's what you need to find in this matchup to kind of even up the prize trade. As you were saying, especially later on in the game when it's already known how much damage Alex is going to do. Does have to pass the turn, but the hand's not too bad. Professor's Research, Lugia V-Star, and a Gift Energy.
Yeah, the hand's not too bad to have a good follow-up. The issue is, how do you discard the Arceus? She needs to draw them like off of the research and then paired with an Ultra Ball, right? The only way to discard cards after a research is an Ultra Ball, and you only play 4, right? Which is the maximum amount you can, but there's no guarantees that you'll even find it off of the next 7 cards.
No, you just got to believe.
You gotta believe. Yeah, that's true. That's how Pokemon works. You just believe, and then you get the cards. All right.
Well, speaking of believing, Alex has Flamigo, his best friend, finding a couple more of those friends. And there's an Ultra Ball discard, double Flamigo. It's the new Ultra Ball double Archeops, you know?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, they're both flying colorless Pokemon, right? So it's basically the same. I feel like we're seeing a repeat of Game 1 for Alex. He just has the exact same start, gets the Flamigo, gets the Skog ability to be able to Squawk and Seize. Probably butchering that pronunciation, but
no, that was ability. Perfect. That was perfect. Yeah, Squawk and Seize.
Squawk and Seize, there you go. All right.
I'm not going to actually squawk. I'm not going to do that. Discard your hand to draw 6 cards. You can only use this on your first turn, but it is so powerful, especially in a deck like this where you want a lot of these cards in the discard.
Now, super awkward draw for Alex, though. Nothing to really follow through next turn. No Kirlias, no draw supporter, no more Squawk and Seize, so this could be very detrimental. Now, that Ultra Ball top deck, though, the Luminion will show up, and that completely changes the turn for Sky. Yeah, Professor Burnett here, as long as it isn't priced, which we know it isn't, is going to be allowing her to do your strategy, right? That's the one thing you want with Lugia. Get your 2 Arceus out on turn 2. When you're not doing that, it's going to be difficult to win a game. When you're doing that, you really can't ask for much more in order to give yourself the best chance at winning. And pair that with Alex's awkward draw off of this Skog and Seize, then it's going to be a little complicated here for Alex.
And not to mention, you got a Professor's Research in hand for next turn. 1 card. Guess what it could be? Well, there's that Primal Turbo. Finds 2 Single Strike Energies, attaches it to the active Tyranitar V. Second one finds that Single Strike Energy, attaching it to that Yveltal. Second one to go along with it. Both those Pokemon now fully powered up to take down pretty much anything in Alex's deck that he can throw at Sky.
Well, that's the thing, though. Like, with all 4 energies being in play, if Cragalanche is utilized to KO a Flamigo next turn, for example, she can't because of the lack of single strike energies to get to 120 damage. And if Yveltal wants to attack, then she also needs to find the urn to recover those energies. And I think Alex recognizes this. Promotes the Flamigo, knows his hand isn't good, though top decks Kirlia, but knocking out that Flamigo will be very costly for Sky, either retreating wise or just using the second attack and discarding 4 cards off the top deck.
Yeah, you should have seen Alex's expressions when that Cragalanche discarded the professor's research off the top of the deck. He was like, I wanted that.
Yeah.
But thankfully, did find that Kirlia, has a level ball and ultra ball in hand, but playing a little slow. Like you said, this Flamigo is going to be sticking around unless Sky's able to put together something crazy. And with just the research in hand, Penny in the prize cards, I guess that would be the one way out of it, right? Penny, the Yveltal attach from hand.
Yeah, potentially. However, Sky did just top the game boss's orders.
Ooh.
So that will allow her to take a prize without having to discard a lot of things. The 4th energy gives me a little indication that maybe she's considering the second attack. I don't know. I feel like there was no rush to get those energies onto the Yveltal, right? It just took away options and flexibility, but she chooses to go for the 2-price turn this time around.
Single strike crush, enough damage, more than enough, but have to discard 4 cards off the top of your deck. 2 single strike earn could be a little detrimental depending on how this game goes.
From Sky's perspective, like I know it's very enticing to be able to take down 2 prizes immediately, right? But if you recognize that Alex has not played a supporter in a couple of turns, right? You know their hand is not too great. I think you go after the Kirlia at that point in order to deny even more resources. That Squawk ability will be there the whole game, right? So if you target down their potential way to get extra cards into their hand, then you're targeting down, like you slow them enough to where that extra prize advantage will not actually make a difference.
It also opens up avenues to the Glade to be able to search for supporter, and that will just unlock everything for Alex here.
Exactly. So I really do believe going after the Kirlia would have been a slightly better choice. There's the Glade, or not. Oh, we have another trouble. There we go. Yeah, so Alex able to piece out a lot of pieces, where if that Kirlia was not available, then Alex would have had to Ultra Ball for a Kirlia and use Refinement and hope, right? But Alex can now guarantee a fresh new hand of 7 cards, probably get this return KO, which might not matter in the grand scheme of things, as Sky is 3 prizes ahead, but still, yeah, she could be 1 less prize card, but in a much stronger board position, or Alex's could have a much weaker board than he currently has.
I guess the one thing you're worried about is something like a Collapse Stadium, discarding that Squawkabilly EX later on. You just have to weigh the risks, and she did that, wanted those prize cards right away. We'll have to see if Alex is able to put together what looks like a pretty good recovery turn here.
Yeah, for certain, Alex will be able to take a return KO here. I believe he does have 5. Will get to 6 United Wings Pokemon in the discard pile. That's 100 damage and just enough to be able to take a KO on this 230 HP Tyranitar. But what's the follow-up to that? Boss into KO Luminion, KO Lugia. I still really think knocking out that Kirlia would have been so key, because now Alex, when he needs the boss, he can find it by utilizing Glade.
That is a great point. Buddy Catches, one of those abilities that just really helps every turn of the game. You can pick and choose what supporters you want to play. And Sky trying to find, I guess, the last urn in the deck to get that single strike energies back in Primal Turbo, then back out onto that Yveltal.
Indeed, that urn, very key. She does have the option to potentially power up Arceus and retreat and take a KO with something else, but then it's once again those 2 energies that she preemptively attached. I feel like we're a little ahead, of
a little preemptive.
Yeah, a little preemptive. Exactly, that's exactly the word that I was looking for. A little preemptive, ahead of their time. Yeah. So yeah, we're like now they're just being utilized to retreat, putting even more pressure on an urn, and Arceus with the double turbo. Unless I'm looking at this wrong, Flamigo has 110 HP.
Yeah.
So will not be taking a knockout due to the double turbo. It is 110 HP. So
We got a boss's orders in hand.
All right. That changes things. Okay, goes after the Gallade. All right.
Glade's weak to dark, so
Gallade's weak to dark, eliminates the boss's orders potential, so we're at the same spot with no Gallade, except Alex has a fresh new hand. Sky still very much ahead. Alex needs back-to-back 2-prize KOs. Otherwise, he's out of this.
And no longer has access to that buddy catch with Gallade to find those boss's orders. I have to rely on refinement to get it done, and just one at that.
Indeed. There is Pokemon recovery, but nothing that can recover a stage 2 at this point. Alex's deck is thin. There is only Serena, though. I did not see boss's orders in there.
Yeah, there is only Serena. Finds the Ralts with that Ultra Ball. Try to find the Zinnia's Resolve. That's not something you can do. Ultra Ball only grabs Pokemon from the deck.
Indeed. Now, a lot of pressure on. I wonder if he'll. Oh, he already has a boss's orders in hand. He already has a boss's orders in hand, so the Wattrel will be able to knock out. Presumably, you would knock out Lugia, I reckon. That would be the toughest Pokemon to knock out, right? As opposed to Luminion, you can use any other United Wings Pokemon to knock out Luminion, but Lugia being weak to Lightning is going to be very, very good here. And it comes down to, can Alex find the Serena next turn?
9 United Wings Pokemon in the discard. There's that boss's orders to bring up Lugia V-Star. And 160 damage times 2. That's 320. Enough to take the knockout on that Lugia V-Star. Alex goes down to 2 prize cards left, needing a boss's orders to seal up the game next turn. Sky also had 2 prize cards left. This game is getting close, Pablo.
Indeed. Now, Sky doesn't know that Alex doesn't have the game-winning boss in hand, so actually an Iono right now will only get Alex closer to the Serena. That's something that not all players... Difference. Yeah, exactly. Like, it's a big difference from when we used to have N, right? Or playing a Judge or Roxanne at this point. Iono gets your opponent closer to pieces they need. So, I mean, without any information on your opponent's hand, you know they have 8 random cards. You'd rather them have 2 random cards, right? But they're not as random as they could be because they're the next 2 cards. So this is actually only getting Alex closer to the Serena. It doesn't mean that she's doing anything wrong. It just means, like, without perfect information, Iono is not foolproof, right? Iono is not the perfect card that we all wish it was.
I don't know about that. Sorry, I had to get it out of me.
I know. You've been talking about this the whole weekend. I set you up for it.
I appreciate that, Pablo. You're good people. Good people.
I know. I try. All
so
right.
it looks like Primal Turbo gets an energy on that benched Archeops. And there is that Speedwing for the knockout. Alex has the attacker ready. Needs to find the Serena. And wow. All right.
Yep.
Iono's a lie.
Iono's a lie. Roxanne is a lie. Yeah, I mean, as I mentioned, yeah, like, you don't know, unless you actually get to look at your opponent's hand, you don't know, right, whether they have it or not. Alex's deck was also relatively thin, so if they have the Iono, I mean, the game-winning boss in their hand, then it goes to the bottom, right, and that's good. If they don't have it, you're getting them closer to it, and comparing that to Marty, I definitely was put in a lot of situations where I didn't have the game-winning card, but I had a lot of cards in hand, and my opponent would play Marty, and then I would actually get to draw the game-winning card, right? So unless you're playing with full information, there's always that risk of Iono, which you have to evaluate.
Well, congratulations to Alex Schemanske, moving on to 4-0 with United Wings, Pablo. Flapping about, trying to take down this tournament from the skies. Who would have thought?
Who would have thought? Yeah, I honestly would not have pictured a United Wings at 4-0, that's for sure.